And so we come to the fall anime season. Leaves are drifting to the ground, just like the ever-diminishing sands of time which remain escape through our fingertips. So, here I am, providing the cup to catch that falling time in the form of an overview of all the anime that, for better or for worse, you should be aware of. I'm joined by Anime YouTube's goddess of Yuri, Zeria, to help me help you navigate the dizzying deluge of Chinese cartoons that the floodgates are about to be opened for.
Hajimarimasu!
How could a discussion of this season begin with anything other than Season 3 of Sword Art Online? The biggest revenue stream for Mother's Basement, the biggest source of controversy and buzz within the anime community of the decade, is back after 4 long years with another mainline entry, promising us 52 episodes. 1 full year of YouTube money, of anime. Whether you love it or you hate it, don't lie to yourself, you're probably gonna be watching it. Because either way, the series has been built up so much that it'll be a spectacle that's fun as hell to be a part of.
Speaking of fun, when it comes to cute girl-focused slice of life, few studios hold the same prestige as one Doga Kobo, beloved for their bounciness and adored for their animation. As such, it was only a natural decision to hand them the reins to one Anima Yell, another show in the long line of series adapted from the famous, or perhaps infamous, Manga Time Kirara. While long-term losses in Doga Kobo staff have left it less outstanding than its predecessors, it still seems likely that we'll get an all-around solid production, with a number of exciting flashes here and there. Unlikely to blow anyone's minds, but sure to be a fan favorite among those it's aimed towards.
This next show may very well blow some minds. Or at least eat them. Violence, zombies, cute girl, rated 15+, curse words, screaming, Mamoru Miyano. Do I have any real idea of what Zombieland Saga is gonna be like? Nope, but I'm still intrigued as hell. The producers have been very guarded in their marketing of this original series, so they definitely intend for us to be taken by surprise. All I do know is that the voice of Steins Gate's Hoin Kyoma, along with many other stellar roles, Mamoru Miyano, is on this project and very enthusiastic about it. And that, combined with the promise of an original series with MAPPA production, is enough to mean I'll definitely be checking this one out. And if you aren't put off by gore, you should definitely be checking it out, too.
And if you're put off by pedophilia, then you should probably give this a pass as well. Ah, Doga Kobo. How you take as well as give. Uchi no Maid ga Uzasugiru is an accursed production. Only the first of multiple adult X-Child Yuri adaptations they'll be doing. A fact that never fails to send me screaming as soon as I recall it. I've looked over the manga for this, and I can safely say that it's not only awful representation, but just plain unfunny. Yet, of their 2 shows this season, this is the one that's to be graced with lively and energetic animation. This is the one that shows traces of the old Doga Kobo. I'm more offended by that than anything. Its director has helmed some of the studio's most successful works, and is still assigned to this mess. What a waste.
Our next anime is thankfully pedophile-free as far as we know, and, as so many series nowadays are, it's associated with a mobile game. However, from its promo art alone, we can see that it won't be one of the terrible ones, since it's keeping things to a manageable cast of 6 main girls, as opposed to tossing all 30 of the gacha girls in like some other MOBA gay adaptations do. The real draw here, though, is its pretty out-there premise. These girls are trying to become space fishermen, tasked with catching god-eating monsters. Sora to Umi no Aida probably won't be worth it for those who aren't fans of cute girl shows, but for those who are, this should hopefully be an interesting iteration of the formula. I'll be most interested in this one personally because it's one of the first main character roles for Honoka Inoue, whose mother I interviewed at Anime Central this year. When I brought up her daughter's career, she immediately reacted with an adorable and heartfelt "thank you very much" in English, so if nothing else I'll be cheering Honoka on. And I'll also be cheering this next series on as Zeria and I record our reactions to it live every week over on the Trans Culture Club channel. Check it out.
Continuing the Doga Kobo train, there's Release the Spice, which isn't actually from Doga Kobo, but with designs from Yuru Yuri creator Namori, and animation staff from the studio. Could you blame someone for making that mistake? Well, you probably could, because modern Dogakobo rarely looks nearly this good, but let's put that aside for now. While the premise of schoolgirl spies may sound suspiciously familiar to a certain 2017 anime, this story by Yuki Yuna writer Takahiro promises to be something different, if not entirely dissimilar. It's got Yuri, great designs, slick animation, and spies. What more could a girl ask for? A lot, presumably, but we should still be happy with what we're getting in this world.
If you'd like something from another world, it's time for the good high fantasy of the season. Goblin Slayer is a dull, edgy series that revels in its rape far too much to be an enjoyable experience, so thankfully you've got That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime to watch instead. This is one of that stable of highly respected isekai series, and unlike Shield Hero, this one manages to avoid having a protagonist that engages in slavery. The most exciting thing about this series is its character designer and chief animation director, Ryomo Ebata. This guy is an ace who handled basically all the action scenes of Princess Principal's thrilling train episode, and from his work on this show's OP, it looks like the show will let us revel in his style once again. Unless you're just completely burnt out on isekai, this is another one just about everyone should give a shot.
And anyone who likes gay girls should give this one a shot. Look, she brought in AniTube's Goddess of Yuri for a reason. There's a damn lot this season. Tonari no Kyu Ketsuki-san is yet another cute girls doing cute things anime. This time with a vampire and the girl who falls in love with her. Sounds good, right? You won't be getting much in the way of development or interesting story beats from this one. It's exactly what it says on the tin. Even less likely to blow anyone away than Anima Yell, it too is sure to be popular among its target audience, though the presence of one Yoshiaki Fujisawa on music composition may draw in a few other spare viewers as well after his brilliant performances on Land of the Lustrous and Revue Starlight, which you should watch, by the way.
You should also watch Fune wo Amu. This season, its author Shion Miura gets her justice. So, back in 2016, we got this stellar little series called Fune wo Amu. Only issue? It was about making dictionaries, and as such it garnered a very niche audience. Now the author of the original novel is back with another adaptation. This time a story about runners adapted by much of Production IG's High Q team. This one will have a much broader appeal, and if the quality of this story is even close to on par with her previous one, Run with the Wind is going to be a gripping tale full of fantastic characters, supported by IG's rock-solid production. This is yet another of the season's must-watches.
Continuing from her sports boy pick, I forward my own. Tsurune, produced by the inimitable Kyoto Animation, is to serve as the first show given to Takuya Yamamura, a man who's worked at the studio for well over a decade now. New promotions at KyoAni are always worth a look given their careful curation of the credits, and the rest of the show gives reason to be hopeful. Adapted from a studio-published novel, as is the norm these days, it comes with series composition by Shirobako's Yokote Michiko, and character design work by Maid Dragon's Kadowaki Miku. Speaking of the latter series, its director, Yasuhiro Takemoto, is supervising Yamamura in his debut, and as Takemoto is arguably the best lead at the studio, sorry Yamada fans, his presence makes it clear that this project is in good hands. If athletic boys are up your alley, or even if you just enjoy subtly produced character drama, this is sure to be a worthwhile watch.
I'ma keep it real with you, 57th Prime Minister of Japan Shinzo Abe. This is not gonna solve Japan's declining birth rate. So, if Darling in the Franxx wasn't enough to sate your desire for baby-making propaganda, I'd like to offer to you Conception. This adaptation of a 2012 PSP game, Hello, centers around our protagonist Itsuki, as he's transported to a world beset by impurities. The only way to defeat the impurities and save the world, Itsuki has to meet with the Star Maidens and produce Star Children who will do battle with those impurities. Yeah, it's a dumb show about a dude who's gotta make a bunch of babies. Is it gonna be good? Almost certainly not. Is it gonna be a good meme? Quite likely. And really, which of those is it more important to be? If this sounds like your thing, definitely check it out. If not, stay far away, my friends.
Those with a more reasonable palate can return with me to the Land of the Lilies, where we encounter Bloom into You. Already one of the best-selling Yuri manga ever penned, even in its short 3.5 years, it is sure to serve as a warmly welcomed appearance for those starved for straightforward sapphic romance anime. especially to those who haven't found recent ones to their liking. Coming from a manga that displays subtle feelings just about as well as any work could, I struggle to imagine that this anime will use its medium nearly as well as its source. But it'd be unreasonable to expect a masterpiece of one form to translate perfectly into another. It's sure to be an excellent character drama for those who give it a chance anyway, even if it can't be quite as inspired as the work that served to establish its base.
Gridman looks like it may well be very inspired. This is probably the non-meme series debut of the director of Inferno Cop, and it's one of the very most exciting projects of the season. And hey, trigger shows almost always are, but this might be especially so. Similarly to Zombieland, the promotion has been a bit hushed on this one. We know from people who've attended private screenings that a big game-changing event happens in the third episode, and that's especially suspicious because in spite of the show's production being almost completely finished, the PVs have all exclusively used footage from early in the show. Something big is going down, and I want to be there to see it. Add to all this the fact that the mecha animation in the PVs is CG, but there's a bunch of 2D mecha animation experts on the staff, and Gridman may very well be gearing up to give us the biggest shock in anime since the studio's previous show, but hopefully it'll be a good surprise this time around. This is another of my must-watches. Keep your eyes on this one.
For a show that'll appeal to a slightly more niche audience, we have Himote House. Coming from the director of some of anime's most beloved and loathed 3D comedy shorts, it primarily sells itself on the absolutely stellar design work that it has on offer, a trait that it manages to capture in animation. Of course, the flip side of that is that there's little animation to show. Unfortunately, it's all quite stilted and not particularly flattering. If the art style is strong enough to keep this a net positive though, and it is for me, then the series seems worth considering. It's certainly not common to see a number of girls living together outside dorm situations, and the possibilities opened by that are more than easy to imagine. Will it be good? Who can really say? But I can tell it'll be interesting, and likely charming in its own way.
But sometimes I don't want to be charmed. Rewrite is a show I'll be watching this season because sometimes I want to hurt myself. After 15 years, Yoshitoshi Abe, one of my favorite creators in all of anime, has returned. This boy worked on Serial Experiments Lain, Haibane Renmei, Technolize, and Nia Under 7, all among the best anime ever made, along with being some of the most distinctive and unique series the medium has to offer. Specifically, he provided the captivating character designs for them, and had varying levels of influence on the writing as well, from chatting with the director and writer as they shared ideas for Serial Experiments, to Haibane Renmei, where he outright created the series. What was supposed to be his next series, Despera, never came to fruition because while it was in production, its director, Ryutaro Nakamura, died. Despera was going to reunite the director and writer of Lain with Abe, but now it's been in production limbo for over a decade, never able to secure the backing to bring it together in spite of us getting word every few years from someone that it's technically still alive. What did manage to get greenlit in the meantime? Well, Rewrited, which tragically is an atrocious production from all accounts. The first 4 episodes released in a chunk on Crunchyroll and I'm dreading watching them, but because of my fanaticism for Abe, I must. This is in spite of the fact that his designs have been slaughtered. While all of his previous designs of course had to be adapted to be more suitable for animation, his aesthetic sensibility came through clearly. Whereas here you'd have no way of telling that these were his at all. They look nothing like his style. I don't even know why he was brought on in the first place, really, and it's a travesty that his return to anime is under circumstances such as these. Those of you who know you need to watch this as I do, my condolences. To everyone else, steer clear of this one.
If you're looking for a significantly less disastrous production, there's Irozoku Sekai no Ashtakara, a seeming romance anime from the slightly less inimitable, but certainly quite praiseworthy, PA Works. Serving as one of many steps in establishing themselves as an independent studio a la the one they so admire, this show gives many new staff members a chance. Will that result in a great production? Well, Glasslip and Charlotte were the last original romances made at the studio, so that might prove to be a bad omen. But then again, the director of this also helmed Nagiasu, so we're hardly doomed. The lack of a pre-credited series composer makes it hard to accurately guess the quality of this show, but let's all give it a shot, shall we? There's nothing to lose and plenty to potentially gain if we take a chance here.
For another original romance series this season, we have Sonotoki Kanojo wa, which should be more to your tastes if Irozoku Sekai's supernatural elements put you off and you're looking for something more grounded. This short anime will follow the love lives, no, not those love lives, of 4 women, a high schooler, a college student, and 2 working professionals. It looks like it will be more from their perspective, so this one will be refreshing both because of that fact and because it's an adult romance, although there does seem to be an increase in series with that setup recently. I wish they could have made at least one of these girls gay for me, but hey, if this series ends up being as strong as things like MMO Junkie and Wotakoi, I won't exactly be complaining too loudly.
If you want the total inverse of a grounded story, take a peek at Akane Sasu Shoujo. With the concept drafted by Zero Escape writer Kotaro Uchikoshi, it was clear from the start that this show would not be a simple slice of life anime. Featuring parallel dimensions, true-to-life conversations, and likely a heavy heaping of despair and twists throughout its run, this is an anime custom-made for those who like to not know what they're getting. Which describes a decent number of shows this season, I suppose, but you can never have too many. Well, I could. It takes a rare talent like Uchikoshi to make this kind of thing work for me, and I'm not entirely sure the actual writers will be able to nail it, but there's no use giving up before even reaching the starting line. I have no idea whether this train will stay on the tracks or not, but it's guaranteed to be interesting either way.
If you need something to sate your thirst for crime-fighting hype now that this season of Hiroaka has concluded, Double Decker Doug and Kirill may be just the drink you're looking for. This is the newest entry in the smash hit Tiger and Bunny franchise, which has been providing an interesting take on the concept of a society built around heroism as a profession since back in 2011. Composer Yuki Hayashi comes over from Hiroaka to provide music for this series, and if the trailer is anything to go by, that music will be as stellar as you'd expect. With Studio Sunrise on the job, you know that the production is in good hands, and when you throw in a cute femboy protag and the promise of some lesbians, there is a lot to be excited about for this project. This should be exactly what you're looking for to tide you over until Season 4 of Hiroaka starts airing. Or, at least until we get to Seasons 2 of both Mob Psycho and One Punch Man, which are right around the corner. What a time to be an anime fan.
2011 sure was a great time to be an anime fan too, wasn't it? Damn, does Seishun Buta Yaro wa Bunny Girl Senpai no Yume o Minai sound like a light novel. And not just because of its overly long title, though that certainly doesn't help. An adaptation of a novel by the author of Sakura So, this series sounds remarkably similar to Monogatari in its focus on girls who have different supernatural afflictions. Sounds like the kind of thing you'd find in the late 2000s or the early 2010s, but hey, that's not necessarily proof this'll spell doom and gloom. I've heard very good word from LN readers, and while that tends to be the case with every adaptation of the oh-so-popular medium, I feel reasonably confident in trusting their word on this occasion, for some reason. I certainly can't promise that this won't turn into total harem schlock as it continues its run, but hey, we've gotta live a little in life, and if this even remotely resembles Monogatari in quality, I'll be quite a happy camper.
So there you have it. I hope that now you find your glass half full, or at least half empty, of anime to invest that sand into as the world cools around you. This has been everything I found to be of note, she has been Zaria, and I have been the Pedantic Romantic. Thanks for watching, and I wish you well on your seasonal endeavors.
You forgot to talk about Jojo Part 5!
Alrighty, video 2 of Bring Back the Romance Down, 14 more to go. Once again, this was a lighter workload video while I plug away at the Wandering Sun editing here, I hope you understand. Head on over and give Zaria a sub if you haven't already, and head on over to Patreon to chip into my efforts here if you feel so inclined. A huge thank you to Psyker, Mathwiz97, Jonathan Conley, Skylar Morrow, Tyler Monk, Sakamoto Mio, Tincho37, Josh Grant, Lord Liquid Bacon III, Elaine Aldfelt, David McCown, Hijort Dog, Smokeweed Sephiroth 420, J-Man 4747, Jedi 168, Peach Plum, and everyone else supporting me on there already.